Okay, well, we'll see what happened. Let's go.
And I'm going to presume, since you do not want to answer the court's questions, that you understand English and understand what I'm saying. You are before the court on 3 charges.
Welcome to What Had Happened Was.
Where we take a peek into actual court cases and give you commentary based on our unique perspective and experiences, and also give you informational tips and tricks to help you avoid a what had happened situation.
Before we get started, give us a thumbs up, a tasteful comment, subscribe to the channel to be notified of every video as they come out. All defendants are considered innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Thanks, Your Honor. Sorry about that.
Case People versus Thomas Styron. Here we go.
Assistant Public Defender Otatella on behalf of Mr. Styron, who stands to my left. Well, let's talk to the judge about that. Right. We've been through this. Seems to be some confusion.
What's the confusion?
I've stated multiple times on the record that I wish to represent myself.
Well, I thought we got rid of that issue the last time.
Yeah, I thought so too. I spoke to this gentleman right here and expressed my wish to represent myself as well.
All right. Well, if he doesn't want you, I mean, we'll figure that out in a moment. So, Mr. Styron, we're going to go through this again. What do we want to do in this case? You understand what you're charged with, sir?
So, I understand what the charges are against me, yeah.
Okay, look, you're going to have to give me straightforward answers to my questions because I've got to make sure that you understand certain things. I got to do certain things here.
From my understanding,
You understand, first of all, that if you do indeed direct, you want to smile about it and laugh about it, take him back. We'll call him out later. Take him back. You keep laughing. You laugh one more time, that's 30 days. Go contempt. Look it up. You may need an attorney. Your fault.
That's the Forensic Center. They also did not sign in, nor have they responded.
Here's a what had happened was interesting fact. For many officers, a traffic stop will be a likely way to encounter one of these people considering themselves to be a sovereign citizen. Please do not take it lightly. Most sovereign citizens are basically law-abiding people, albeit highly misinformed about how the law actually works. Some sovereigns have shown a willingness and ability to be violent. If you suspect that you're dealing with a sovereign citizen, please call for backup. If you read any sovereign literature, they advocate trying to confuse and befuddle the law enforcement officers. The mantra is to make the law enforcement officer so confounded that the officer just decides to end the contract before he or she becomes more perplexed. Like, for instance, they'll say they're not driving, they're traveling. Often the sovereign citizens don't bother to pay for their licenses, or they don't have one. They feel the right to free movement means that they do not need a license. Travel is a right, which is true. However, what the sovereign fails to grasp is that they are free to travel by foot, bike, or even by horse. A car is considered a complex machine, and to operate a complex machine requires training and some licensure to operate said machine. So, in some driving laws, it's worded to operate a motor vehicle, while none actually say drive, which is why.
Correct.
Number 2, as a free person, they do not recognize the jurisdiction you have, da-da-da-da-da. At some point, a sovereign citizen will say that they are a free person. As a free person, they are not subject to any local laws and are free of any legal constraints, including taxes and fines. But what they fail to grasp is that they want all the protection of local government without paying the cost for it. If you ask a sovereign what they would do if their child was hurt, if their house was on fire, how they would plan to put it out, the response is always to call 911. It's a funny, eye-opening experience to point out that 911 and the fire EMS service is a local tax-funded entity. So if they are considered to be a free person, then maybe 911 is something that they are free to also keep away from, as in no ambulance and no fire trucks for them because they are not paying for the service. 3, speeding is not a crime. A crime requires an injured party. In the twisted view of the law that they feel ordinance violations are not valid because there is no victim. Yet they forget that we have different levels of legal violations in this country. In some states, most traffic and other minor violations are considered ordinance violations.
Yes,
not a crime,
yeah, they're not crime,
but a civil forfeiture. Thus, there's no injured party needed. It is a civil matter, not a criminal matter. It becomes a criminal matter if by them operating this vehicle, they injure a person, hit a stop sign.
right? Anything
that involves
a crime under that statute.
A crime under the statute.
Statutes under the vehicle and traffic laws. Yes.
As a free person, your license plate taxes do not apply to me. It seems that some sovereign citizens will make their own license plate for their cars. These plates will display terms like U.S. constitutional plate, exempt, sovereign neutral non-combatant, sovereign Christian citizen, or any of some other non-legal terms. They feel that they are exempt from the illegal tax on car ownership. These sovereigns love to use legal terms and talk about contracts. They forget the nice roads that they travel on have to be paved and in the winter plowed. Point out to them that there is a social contract between the people using the roads and the people keeping the roads open for travel. Someone needs to pay for the cost of the road, so license plate costs are not a tax. They are a user fee. Am I being detained? The sovereign citizen and the cop block movement both love this question. People who got their law degrees by reading social media comments feel that that being detained is the same as an arrest. Yet real lawyers can explain the difference between the two. Yes, a traffic stop is a short investigative detention. An officer with reasonable suspicion that a violation has taken place may stop someone for a short time to establish facts related to that violation. How brief that short time will be decided solely by the citizen. If they want to play games, then they are the one making the contact last longer. In conclusion, some sovereign citizens also have a propensity for violence. Make sure that there's backup. Keep your eyes open for any threats. Because that they're into some crazy belief system does not mean that they're not able to learn tactics to hurt anyone. The tactics is to cause confusion with the officer or person. Turn the tables on them and confuse them. Make them question what they have learned. Use the fire department on a sovereign citizen. Use different tactics to make them explain themselves more and more detailed, because once again, the tactic is to confuse and perplex the person that they're interacting with in order to make them stop. But if you have them explain over and over again, then they have to explain, and they usually don't have the words to explain. And
as you see, dealing with them is very frustrating.
And it's to frustrate. It's to frustrate because even a simple answer, which is why they will say that they're operating as the entity under this. Well, if you're operating under the entity of this, so this is the same thing as if, okay, so you've recently been in an accident. So this is the same thing. If someone was in an accident and say they're a sovereign citizen and say, well, okay, so I'm going to need to see identification in order to transport this thing, because if not, I cannot transport this entity. I don't have permission to. I need to have permission, and then they have to say yes or no, because either they say yes or they die right there. They have to pick and choose and say, well, where would you like us to transport you to? Because as you being a sovereign citizen, we don't have the legal right to take you and hold you in a facility which will dispense medication and do other things to you. So
a hospital and travel lands, or when you're a sovereign's domain is that? Do you have a hospital there? So
do you have a hospital located, a medical facility that your sovereign citizenship can be treated at? That your entity is going to be treated at? Because if they say take me to the nearest hospital, is it located on your property? Because you as a sovereign citizen do not have access to as other citizens of the state or city do. Later that day.
Oh, here we go. See how this works out.
14A District Court for County of Washington, State of Michigan is now back in session. The Honorable Judge Tate that accepts and presides.
You may be seated.
Ooh, we gonna start with him? All right, let's do that. All right, is Constantino still here? What? She got another case? Okay. You told me she was done.
Here what?
Oh, they're there. All right.
Court calls the case of the people versus Styrens. Recall. State your name.
My name is Thomas Styron. Living man.
Mr. Styron, you are before the court. You have elected to represent yourself. I do have to advise you that you have 3 counts against you. The first count is that of fleeing and eluding 3rd degree under the motor vehicle code. Do you understand the nature of that charge, sir?
This is under the assumption that you're compelling me to identify as Thomas York Styron, the legal entity on this case.
I believe that you are. Do you understand the nature of the charge, sir?
I don't understand how the name you have on the case and who I am, it's 2 different people.
I have a complaint, Thomas Styron II. Do you understand that that individual is charged with fleeing and eluding 3rd degree?
So
Do you understand the nature of that charge? You just need to answer my question.
for the record,
Take him back, and when he decides he wants to cooperate, we'll bring him back, maybe. I'm not threatening you. Say one more word, and that's 30 days. 30 days. This one. Court calls the case, People versus Sky Jones. Oh, great. Just can't get a break.
Don't worry.
Even later that day.
Let's go again.
Boom, boom.
Let's see how this goes again.
You know, Miss Gaines, I went and back, and I almost didn't come back out. I almost just wanted to stay. You understand? See? That's why I like Joe. Joe understands. Finally. Recalls the case, People of the State of Michigan versus Thomas Styron II. Styron, you are before the court on a felony complaint that does allege count 1. And I'm going to presume, since you do not want to answer the court's questions, that you understand English and understand what I'm saying. You are before the court on 3 charges. Count 1 is the charge of fleeing and eluding 3rd degree under the Michigan Motor Vehicle Code. That is a felony punishable by up to 5 years incarceration, a $1,000 fine plus court cost, and would require the Secretary of State to suspend your license for up to 1 year upon conviction. Count 2 is assaulting, resisting, and obstructing a police officer. That is a felony or high court misdemeanor punishable by up to 2 years incarceration and or a $2,000 fine plus court cost. Count 3 is a misdemeanor offense of operating with a license suspended, denied, and or revoked. That is a misdemeanor as indicated, punishable by up to 93 days, $500 fine plus court cost. Your vehicle could be subject to immobilization. Since you refused previously to answer my acknowledgement as to whether you understand that, I will assume that you understand what you're charged with. You are also entitled to be represented by counsel at this and all subsequent proceedings. If you could not afford to hire an attorney would be provided at public expense to represent you in this matter. You are entitled, as indicated, to be represented at this proceeding, all subsequent proceedings, including your preliminary examination, and if the matter were to proceed by trial, you would be entitled to counsel. It is, as we have gone through the previous proceedings, the court's understanding that you do not wish to be represented by counsel, and that this matter will then proceed forth with you representing yourself. I have to advise you that in representing yourself, the court will make the presumption that you understand the Michigan court rules, those regarding both procedure and those regarding evidence. The court will not be providing any legal assistance to you during the course of those proceedings and will hold you to the same standards that I would hold an attorney representing or practicing before this court. So, with all of that, and with the court's understanding that you do not want to be represented by counsel, I will set this matter for its next proceeding.
You understand I'm the beneficiary, not the trustee, right?
That will be the preliminary examination. I will set the preliminary examination. Has discovery been provided to the defendant?
Your Honor, he was previously represented by the public defender. I don't know if they turned over the paperwork to him.
Does anybody from the public defender's office know whether or not the defendant has been provided discovery? Mr. Odetella. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Your Honor, we have the discovery. I have not been able to share that discovery with Mr. Steyer, and I tried to speak with him and go over it, but I'd be happy to turn that over to him at the first available.
All right, if you would either turn that over to the court officer so that they can provide that to Mr. Steyer so that he has the discovery, and if you could do that today, I would appreciate it.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm setting the preliminary examination. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
2024, 9 a.m. That is before me. Defendant, as he was leaving the courtroom the last time, the court did find the defendant in contempt, sentenced him to 30 days. The defendant will serve that sentence. The court will sign the judgment of sentence regarding the contempt.
I don't understand how that's possible. Like I said, I'm
So
the
first of
man,
all,
I'm the
watch your
beneficiary. You're
language.
treating me as if I'm the trustee, or I don't want to partake in any trust fraud or anything like that. Is this a Sesquive trust matter involved in this? Is my social security number attached to this at all? Go figure.
Mr. Styron, or whoever you wish to be addressed as, I'd suggest that you watch yourself because there's going to be more time coming. You keep it up.
You're
You will
presuming that
you
there's
will
some
learn how
sort of
to conduct yourself appropriately in these proceedings in this courtroom and before me. You will not in any manner whatsoever
You're trying to
disrespect
compel me to be somebody I'm not.
or this institution.
You have no evidence
It will not
to prove that
happen.
I'm who you say I
You
am.
will not talk to me in that fashion.
In what fashion? I'm not the one being unethical.
Very good. You'll serve the 30 days. We'll see. We'll see him on the 6th. Bond continued. Who wants to go next?
And finally, to sum the day up,
Who's going to go next? I got to see who's going to go next. After that circus that is left the room.
Who wants to go next? Tavion Ware.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
No, it's not. But go ahead. Thank you, Mr. Turkis.
Edward Drucas on behalf of Travion Ware.
Edward Drucas for the win.
The adjournment king.
The adjournment
Stepped up
king.
for the swing. There it is.
Asking for a 2-week adjournment. I just got the discovery over to him and got some contact information.
Okay. Sir, your name?
Tavion Ware.
Tavian.
Michigan Contra, for the people, no objection to that request.
Want the 6th or the 13th?
The 6th.
Probable cause conference, June 6, 2024. 9 a.m. or your invite indicates bond will continue. Thank you.
Pardon? I'll go over it with you.
Thank you. All right, you're welcome.
Thanks for watching.
And also give us a thumbs up, like, comment, share. Subscribe to the channel and you'll be notified of every video as they come up. And get that algorithm going and help us build this channel in 2024.
And make sure that you don't wind up in a what had happened situation. Bow, bow, bow.